Peace, family. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. I just want to say good morning to you. It is August the 24th. I don't know why I got to look at it all the time. I should probably record it to memory. But it's August the 24th. Today is Wednesday, midweek, hump day for those who like to call it that. However it is for you. However you communicate to yourself. You're almost there. Today is Wednesday, the 24th of August. This month is like almost over. It's like, do you remember when it was like August the 1st? So for all you September babies out there, your day is coming. It's literally around the corner next week. So is it next week? Let me make sure. I know I'm saying it. I know September is around the corner, like for real, for real. Let me check. I think let me make sure, like for real. Just for me. It ain't for y'all. Yeah, September is next week. Like pow, next week. But yeah. So again, good morning to you. I thank you and I appreciate you. Peace. Good morning, my LinkedIn viewers. For all my LinkedIn viewers out there, those who watch it on LinkedIn, I appreciate you for watching because you do not have to watch it at all because there are a lot of things that's going on LinkedIn. So I thank you and I appreciate you as always. Miss Teresa, good morning. Peace. Good morning, Mr. Bowens. So we're gonna be tapping into something that only those who understand what it is will actually get it. So before we really begin, what I want you to do is put inside the comment section, put the word covenant. That's a real word, and it's only real to those who understand the importance of a covenant. But we talking about the covenant that you have or that you can have with yourself. A personal covenant. That covenant that means that much to you. Man, I know there's people that want to talk about the spiritual side and blah blah blah. No, we talking about you. Let's separate religion from reality right now, and let's talk about you and have you set your own personal covenant with yourself, with the you that you are. That's the covenant we're going to tap into. So, yeah, I ain't gonna prolong this because this is deep. It's deep, deep, deep. Appreciate you for putting covenant in the chat, Miss Teresa. All right, so let's jump. All right, so if you're new to the platform, we have definitions and we have inversions of red or white, and then we're going to tap into the etymology of it. So as I begin to learn about covenant, especially the etymology portion of it, I was like, wow, this is why a covenant is important to us, as people, as individuals, especially if you have a goal that you have set. There is a covenant that you must have in order for that thing to come about. So the first definition of the word covenant, now I couldn't have an inversion on this. What I'm going to invert and or agreement. So the definition of covenant, it says an agreement. I'm talking about an agreement with you. Can you agree on what you are doing, or have you made an agreement on what you want to do? Having that agreement with yourself, it actually gives it gives it strength, it gives it power, but there's actions that has to come about after the agreement is set. So the second definition of covenant is a promise, agreement, or contract between two parties. And the inversion on this is between two parties. It is between you and you. It is between your today and your tomorrow. It is between where you are and where you want to go. It is between what you have and what you strive to have. It is between what you want and how you're going to go about getting it. It is between two parties, but the party is you. Because a lot of times we can talk about promises, but we break our own promises. We can talk about the things that we want to agree to disagree, but we're at a conflict between ourselves. And it's like receiving a contract and you sign it, and then you want to get all bucked with somebody else and be like, man, look, you broke the contract agreement, and you get all uppity with somebody else, but can you do that with yourself? So let's talk about this contract that most people often do at the beginning of the year. You all know what I'm talking about before I say it. So if you know what contract that I'm about to say, whether it's written or unwritten, do you know what the contract is? Put it inside the chat. If not, I'm gonna tell you your New Year's resolution. You know what? There's two. There's two out there. Your New Year's resolution. That's a contract, whether it was written or unwritten, a contract that you made between you and you. So my question to you is, have you fulfilled the contractual agreement that you've made with yourself? That is an answer that will only be answered by those who are true to themselves. Or did you breach your own contract? Another one, for those who like to do vision boards. Have you fulfilled your contractual agreement that you've made with yourself? Have you fulfilled that covenant of what you said that you want to do when you created your vision board, or have you lost sight of the vision? I'm going to leave that alone because that's going to be stepping on somebody's toes. Here it is, August, about to roll into September next week, and you have that contractual agreement that you made at the beginning of the year that you've breached your own contract, that you're not looking at you as the culprit, as the person who did not fulfill the promise that you made to yourself. But you want to get in front of everybody else to say what they're not doing, but you haven't done it to yourself, for yourself, about yourself. Have you fulfilled that agreement? If the answer is no, say that. Because when you understand what you didn't do, it allows you to measure what needs to be done after you have figured out what was not done. I'm gonna leave that alone because I can go on that all day. Now I'm speaking to me too. I'm not oblivious that I'm just as human as you are. So the etymology of covenant. Now, again, as you already know, the things that resonate with you, go ahead and put it inside the chat, because a lot of times people come on the replay and tap into the comments. So the etymology of the word covenant, it is Latin, which says covenir. If I'm wrong, cool. Take it how you want to take it. But it says come together, unite, be suitable, and agree. A lot of times you have people that's not even suitable with themselves. You haven't made a suitable account. You have yet to make a suitable what's the word? What do I want to say? You have yet to make a suitable effort into ensuring that the agreement or the covenant that you made with yourself at the beginning of the year has come to pass. Now, I'm just giving you the root of covenant, the etymology of covenant. So again, have you made a suitable effort to accomplish the covenant that you made at the beginning of the year? Have you created or have united inside of your head between your goals and your accomplishments? Have you united those two words to actually bring your goal to pass? There has to be some sort of unification, because there is a big difference between your goals and your accomplishments. Your goals could just be the vision of the idea that you have, but your accomplishments is the things that you have visualized and you have taken action on it and you have completed to task. And come together. You're going to have that sit down with yourself, right? Having that sit down with yourself, like, okay, Here it is. It's almost September. What have I done? Have I done everything that I said I was going to do? Or do I need to revise what I said I was going to do and create a much more suitable effort in order for me to agree that it's going to be done? Again, I'm just giving you, this is coming out of the etymology of covenant, because you have to see it from that perspective, because it is telling you that you have to come together if two or three agree. But can you agree with your own self? You don't have to involve two or three people if you can't agree with yourself, because you're allowing two or three people to suffer in your own foolishness, but you can't even make a suitable agreement with you. I don't want two or three people if I can't agree with myself. Because if you try to have two or three agree, touch and agree, I don't want to touch this, because you can't uphold your own covenant. I'm going to leave that alone. So now in covenant, it also says, now I don't know where com came from or gua. I don't know, but it's within the root of covenant. So the co or the com of convier, again, you correct it how you want to correct it. The co or the com is the together part, and the veneer part is to come. So it will not come to pass until you come together within inside of your mind, or inside of your brain, or inside of your own subconscious, to say, this is going to come together because I am ready and I'm committed to making a change. And then the other portion of the etymology of covenant, it says to go, comma, come. A lot of times we haven't reached those goals because we haven't even, we don't know whether we're coming or we're going. Right? You don't know if you're coming or you're going. So there's a conflict between your own reality, because you have yet to realize that this thing that you want to get done won't come to pass until you understand that you have to come together inside of your mind. Changing or the alteration of your mindset will actually possibly put you in a direction that is progressive, that you're actually going to make it happen. Right? So let's go ahead and tap into these covenant words. So as we go into the covenant words, I want you to create your own covenant words. What are those words that you agree? What words of agreement that is going to get you to the point to where you have to make it happen? Right? Because an agreement or a commitment is like a two-way contract between two or more people, but it's predicated on performance. Right? If I have a contract with you and I said, I'm going to give you $600 a month to cut the grass, and I know that's a lot of money for somebody to be cutting somebody's grass, $600 a month to cut somebody's grass. And then if the grass is not cut when I walk out and I inspect it, then I'm understanding that the performance that we have agreed to, I agreed to pay you $600 and I pay you $600, but you also agreed to perform a service to ensure that the lawn is taken care of. So if you don't do what you said that you was going to do, there is a disagreement and there is a breach and a break of the contract. Right? But the requirements of the contract is often represented by minimum standard. Because if we don't understand that if we raise our standard in what we want for ourselves, then the standard of the commitment becomes a lot stronger. Because we want more, so we have to do more. We want to be in a certain place, but we haven't put ourselves in that place mentally in order for us to be there or see ourselves, because sometimes we set limits on our own responsibility because we're like, if you do this, I would do that. Have you ever convinced yourself like, okay, if you do this today, you get to do that tomorrow? It's like you're trying to commit yourself to an agreement that you are not even holding yourself to a high standard, or you're limiting your responsibility in doing it because you're it's like you're bribing yourself. We're bribing ourselves to say, if I do this today, then I will be rewarded and I can do this tomorrow. But accountability is important, but the personal commitment bears no feelings. It only bears feelings when we feel disappointed that we didn't do it. And there's an emotional detachment that takes place because when we disappoint ourselves that we didn't complete our task, or we didn't adhere to the to the resolution that we set at the beginning of the year, so now we feel like we've destroyed our own obligation of performance because we didn't do what we said that we were going to do. So now let's do this. Because you felt that you've destroyed your commitment that you said that you set out for yourself at the beginning of the year. You did this elaborate vision board and it looks real good. You know, you got your little cutouts and you put your words and you put your graphs and all that stuff. Cool. Great. You got an A in social studies today. But now let's consider having or developing a covenant, because a covenant is a higher law of realization that you as a person, as an individual, create a significant binding agreement between yourself, that binding promise that you have with yourself and what you want to do, because that covenant is a one-way promise with you. That's that promise between you and you. That's that promise that you've had when it was just you in the room and you're talking to yourself and you're writing it down and you're trying to figure it out. That's that promise when you're driving on the highway and you have the music is not playing, the windows are rolled up, and you're just thinking about the things that you want to accomplish in your life for the rest of the year. That's that promise you made with yourself when you're just sitting in a room quiet, listening to the sounds. That's that promise that you made when you was meditating to you, about you, when you needed space and you needed time. That's that promise that you made with you, because you begin to sacrifice your time in order for you to accomplish those things, to make it happen. That's that unwritten conviction that you have with yourself to say, today is my day. If I'm ever going to accomplish this, I must establish a covenant with me to agree, to have a significant amount of agreement with my goals, my vision, my purpose, my will, and all of that stuff and combined together to make it happen. The very first covenant word is dedication, right? Because if you've made an agreement between you and you have to have a level of dedication, because dedication is like one of the all-time greatest strengths that you can have, that you can agree to immerse yourself in that dedication and be eager to accomplish that goal, because you understand your why. And when you have the ability to adapt to the changing of the environment, because there are going to be plenty of things that's going to change around you. But when you understand that you're the change within all environments, then you are strengthened, and your foundation of your dedication makes it even stronger, because a part of my covenant is to be consistently striving to do better and to grow. That's my own personal covenant. That's why I'm always striving to learn something new. I'm always striving to do better than what I did the last time I did it, right? That's my own personal covenant of dedication. to perform and to strive and to do better. And I have made an agreement with myself to always self-reflect and to learn. I'm dedicated to that. So my covenant word is dedication. So the next thing that I want you to understand, that there has to be a level of persistence. Because just because you made an agreement doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to push through it, because you can hit the wall just like everybody else did. But what happens after you hit that wall? You have to have the a direct course of action to keep doing it. Like, boom, I said I'm gonna do this, I'm going to do it. I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to strive to do it. I'm going to make it happen. I'm telling myself to keep going, because my goals will not be reached without a level of resistance. But the resistance that I run into will not stop me from continuing on to do what I want to do. I must be persistent if I'm ever going to reach that goal. So the second word of covenant, second covenant word is persistence. And the third is decision. Right? And I'm going to tell you why the third word of a covenant word is a decision, because you have to make one. I don't care. Even not make, I'm sure you've heard of it. Even not making a decision is a decision. And a decision is made when there is a form of conviction, right? A decision is made when there's a form of conviction. Because if I feel convicted enough that I did not execute what I said I was going to execute, then I will make a conscious decision to do bigger, better, and greater than what I did when the decision was not made. So where are you at in your decision-making process? Have you decided to give up, or have you decided to try again? Regardless of what you say, regardless of who you place yourself around, regardless of the things that you have done, a decision has to be made, and it has to be made only after there is an agreement between you and what you want to do and how you're going to go about doing it. So that's your third covenant word. And the last one, it just had to be added. I mean, of course, this the name of the podcast, consistency is currency. But being consistent is most definitely a covenant. You have to agree with you to say, regardless of what's going on around me, I will be consistent. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Do not be consistent at being inconsistent. Now, it's me talking to me just as well as you can talk to you. I mean, we've all been there. Some of us are still there. Some of us still deal with it, being consistent at being inconsistent. But you're not going to get to where you're striving to go to if you don't understand that there is a covenant of consistency that needs to take place in order for you to accomplish that particular goal. Because consistency is a critical driver to success. I mean, because consistent means to be dedicated to your goals and staying focused on the things that you seek to achieve. And it allows you to take those activities and to keep doing it and to keep going and to reflect and then to action it again and then reflect and action it again. That will build that strength and that confidence in yourself because you was consistent at accomplishing those goals. Because consistency requires a long-term agreement with yourself, that you involve some sort of sustainment effort, that if my goals is ever going to be accomplished, I must sustain my efforts and be consistent at it. So now my question, it's not even a question. It's action. I mean, sometimes that's where we lack sometimes. Okay. User said his covenant word is, well, it just said LinkedIn user. I don't see male or female. Their covenant word is resolution. That's true. Because sometimes you have to be the resolve if you're going to create resolutions in your life. There will always be situations, but can you take those situations and to create a resolution within it? Create a resolution for it to create an achievable outcome. And when that outcome is achieved, then you just duplicate that process. So I'm going to tell you something real quick, then I'm going to go. So you have your input, you have your throughput, and you have your output. Your input is very important because that is the effort. That is that action that you're taking in order for you to develop that process that you're about to go through. Then you got your throughput. Your throughput is the journey. Your throughput is the environment that you find yourself in. Your throughput is the things that you deal with when you're in the process of getting or going in a direction that you're about to go. And your output is the results. But your output is not at your output is just as important as your input and your throughput. Because the things that you put into it, it doesn't always have to end that way. But the throughput, are you prepared for the journey? Are you prepared for the change of the environment? Change will not take place until the inner conviction creates the change for you. All right, that's it. Have a covenant with you. I had to tell my son when he asked why I wake up early every morning to work out. I made a promise to myself to be active every day, and I refuse to let myself down. I mean, it has to be that way. You know, there has to be a formal level of refusal, because that formal level of refusal is the conviction of knowing what happens when you don't do it, right? Because I feel so convicted. Now, for me, I get up in the morning, I get up at 5, I go running or walking at 5:30 before I come in and I do this. If I don't run at 5:30, I feel convicted. My mindset just is not how it should be. That's just like that one time when I did it at reverse time and I did it at 7:30 at night. It just didn't work. It didn't work for me because I felt convicted even after the show that my emotions kind of took me there, because I know that I didn't give it my best. I didn't give it my all because I felt convicted because my train of thought was not balanced. So I felt convicted, and I didn't even upload the show in the podcast distribution. I didn't do it because I know what I bring to the table in the morning, and I know the energy that I have in the morning is set for the morning. But I had to make an agreement to say, you know what, this is not a morning show. I mean, this is not an evening show. I can't do it because my calling was told, what the calling was told to me to do it in the morning. But because I chose to do it in the evening, I stepped out. I've created the breach in contract because I took it upon my own self to do something different. And then I felt I understood what it felt like to be out of the covenant of what I was supposed to do. And because I know what it feels like to be out of the covenant, I felt convicted, and I don't want to feel that conviction again. So therefore, I won't step outside the covenant, and I will do it in the morning. And that's the same thing that you can have with you. Have you ever felt like something that you did shouldn't have been done and you knew that it was supposed to be done this way? That is a covenant that you made with yourself. That is the conviction that you have within you to know that it should have been done different, because you stepped outside of your personal agreement that you made with you, or you stepped outside of your personal covenant that you made with yourself. Because remember, covenant is the highest form of agreement that you can ever make with you, because you're holding yourself to a standard. You're holding yourself to the highest form of agreement that it will come to pass. And I'm not going to be waverly in the actions that I'm going to take, because I'm going to do and I'm in line with the direction that I'm going, which is progressive. All right, that's enough. Man, y'all be blessed. And I'll see you tomorrow here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast choice. Just go ahead and put it down in the comment section, your takeaways, the things that resonate with you. Put it in the comment section and let's all grow together. Why? Because we all have the ability to change our landscape by understanding that we have an agreement to make it better. Y'all be blessed. Peace.